As an Amazon associate, we earn from qualifying purchases. This podcast is supported by its listeners. If you choose to purchase something using links on our website, we may earn a commission. No books were warped, dog-eared, underlined with purple pen, eaten, cursed, cancelled, burned, or otherwise harmed in the making of this podcast. I'm Tom Tolkien, and this is the School Reading List, a podcast that recommends books you'll want your children to read and books you'll wish you'd read as a child. To kick off episode 5 of the School Reading List podcast, let's rip open some book post. And first up, we have The Burpee Bears, an animated Christmas adventure by Joe Wicks. Granny Bear is about to visit, and there's so much to do before she arrives for Christmas. But when a sudden snowfall threatens their plans, can the bears find a way to save Granny's day? This energetic story combines onomatopoeia, catchy rhymes, and a madcap plot, with recipes and fun Christmas-themed exercises for all the family. This is bound to appeal to children aged 3 to 5. Scattered Showers by Rainbow Rowell, illustrated by Jim Tierney. This one's from Macmillan. With sparkling dialogue, humour and short, sharp plots, these 9 short stories are beautifully presented in hardback, including 5 brand new stories about high school life, loves and experience. Readers will be pleased to see the return of Simon Snow. A great Christmas gift for teenage Rainbow Rowell fans. And new from Cicada Books is Snail Trail by Ziggy Hanaor, illustrated by Christos Kortoglu. Whatever Marjorie does, she can't seem to find anywhere to spend time on her own. Someone always follows her trail and wants to talk to her. A great story that will appeal to children who sometimes just want to be left alone. The full-colour illustrations are engaging and characterful, and this is an ideal text to help younger children develop inference skills. And this one's from Otter Barry Books, A Cat Called Waverley by Debi Gliori. For many years, Waverley the cat has had a happy life, but one day his best friend Donald goes off to war. For years, Waverley survives and longs for him to return. Will the two of them ever be reunited? This poignant narrative picture book is inspired by real characters and explores themes of homelessness, loyalty, loss, PTSD and war with great sensitivity. This is an excellent text to read and discuss with Key Stage 2 pupils in PSHE lessons. Duck's Backyard by Ulrich Hub, and this one's from Gecko Press. A limping duck and a blind hen club together, the duck as a guide and the hen as support, and they embark on an amazing quest to a magical land where dreams come true. Empowering, heartwarming and inspiring, this story will help children to set goals and believe. This energising quest story is the perfect chapter book for newly independent readers in Key Stage 1 and Lower Key Stage 2 who want thrills, twists and surprises. And this is a great book from Allen and Unwin Children's Books, Dear Grandpa by Kate Simpson. Henry lives further away from his grandpa than all the world's whales placed end to end. But through imaginative writing, the two of them can still keep in touch. The clever use of letter writing to tell this heartwarming and positive story will appeal to teachers in Lower Key Stage 2. And with gorgeous and radiant artwork, this book is bound to inspire art and writing display ideas. A heartwarming story that's highly recommended for 4 to 8-year-olds. I Hear You Ocean by Kallie George. This one's from Greystone Kids. The ocean has lots to say, if you listen, explains one child to a younger sibling in this beautifully illustrated picture book featuring diverse characters. With rich figurative language and alluring oral and visual descriptions, pebbles, wildlife, rock pools and seaweed come alive. Readers in EYFS and Key Stage 1 will almost taste and smell the experience through the thoughtful and lyrical writing. Highly recommended. Eco Girl by Ken Wilson Max. Eve loves caring for the trees, particularly the incredible baobab tree, and after a surprising turn of events, and with the help of her grandma, she finds herself connected to the future of the forest in ways she could not have imagined. Eco Girl is a positive and informative, conservation-themed picture book with lyrical text that highlights the magnificent baobab trees and the importance of planting, protecting the landscape, and combating climate change in Africa. A cracking follow-up to the best-selling Astro Girl, ideal for reading and discussing in Key Stage 1. Epic Animal Journeys, Migration and Navigation by Air, Land and Sea by Ed J. Brown is a brand new hardback from Cicada Books. Exploring nature's sat-nav-free miracle of migration, follow birds, salmon, butterflies and elephants as they travel great distances. A magnificent large format, full-colour hardback, Epic Animal Journeys features enticing illustrations and lots of interesting facts. Stunningly illustrated, this book will be a great resource for research and home learning in Upper Key Stage 2. Ooh. The Girl Who Became a Tree by Joseph Coelho. This one's from Otter Barry Books. Transforming the love story of Apollo and Daphne into fresh and modern narrative poems, this sequence utilises outstanding wordplay, provocative and thought-provoking images, and lines that will linger in the memory. The multi-layered and varied forms are often startling and never dull, and will appeal to the widest audience. Young people who don't like poetry will need to rethink. A modern classic, highly recommended for Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4. And from Allen and Unwin Children's Books, this is Kind by Jess McGeachin. Be kind to those who flutter, those who weave, those with shells and those who glitter, says this evocative hardback picture book that celebrates the value of life in every form. Exploring themes of protecting the environment, tolerance and the world around us, this is a beautiful picture book to share with younger children or use as an impetus for writing rhyming poetry in Key Stage 2. Kind is the perfect book to read, discuss and celebrate on the 13th of November, World Kindness Day, and as the cover strapline says, it's a call to care for every creature. Ooh. When Poems Fall from the Sky by Zaro Weil, and this one's from Welbeck Editions. Featuring playlets, haiku, rhymes, rap and plenty of poems, When Poems Fall from the Sky is a lively collection that's well suited to Key Stage 2 literacy teaching, or to use in themed National Poetry Day workshops. Illustrated throughout with spectacular lithograph prints by Junli Song, this is a vibrant book to inspire cross-curricular poetry and artwork projects in years 3 to 6. For English teachers looking to model observational and nature poems, and art teachers looking for printmaking inspiration, this anthology will prove particularly valuable. Ooh. Thank you to all the publishers and publicists for sending us books to review here on this podcast and on our website schoolreadinglist.co.uk. Here's our rundown of great new children's and young adult books hitting the bookshelves this November. Journeys in Creative Telling Tales by Rudi Haig. Luminous by Julia Kuo. The Red Dragon by Lynne Reid Banks. Paradise Sands, A Story of Enchantment by Levi Pinfold. Explorers at Stardust City by Alex Bell. The Girl of Ink and Stars, Gift Edition. Where Bjorn Belongs by Samuel Langley-Swain. Terry's Crew by Terry Crew and Corey Thomas. Once Upon a Hillside by Angela McAllister. Captain Underpants Double Crunchy Book of Fun by Dav Pilkey. I'm Almost Never Bored, I'm Not Very by Anna Milbourne. Supertato presents Jack and the Beanstalk by Sue Hendra. Snail Trail by Ziggy Hanaor. One and Everything by Sam Winston. Balloon to the Moon by Becky Davis. Tasting Light by A.R. Capetta. Murder at Snowfall by Fleur Hitchcock. The Moon by Dr. Samlyn Buxner. Night Train to the Stars by Kenji Miyazawa. Secrets of a Christmas Elf by Ben Miller. Fury of the Vikings by Dominic Sandbrook. Epic Animal Journeys by Ed J. Brown. Roar, I'm a Dinosaur by Meryl Rainey. If You Were a City by Kyo McClear. All new official Minecraft Redstone Handbook. The Real Dada Mother Goose by John Setchka. Wearing My Mother's Heart by Sophia Thakur. The Marcus Rashford Euro Champion Action Planner by Marcus Rashford. Self-Portrait with Nothing by Amy Patakwa. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Roberts Frost. And our picture book of the month is Gotcha by Clotilde Perrin. Our non-fiction book of the month is Nomads, Life on the Move by Kinchoy Lam. And our fiction book of the month is Once Upon a Hillside by Angela McAllister. Bookity Book, let's get reading. If you're a teacher, librarian or avid bookworm who loves children's or YA books and you'd like to review brand new titles for the school reading list, get in touch by email. We'd love to hear from you. The address is reviews@schoolreadinglist.co.uk. Buy a book this Christmas. A book is cheap, long-lasting, and doesn't eat power, break down, or stop working. A book is eco-friendly, mind-friendly, and time-friendly. Books can be read, reread, shared, talked about, thought about, loved, hated, pored over, argued over, borrowed, empathised with, and remembered. Books reflect dreams and change lives. Books will ignite your child's imagination. A gifted book says a lot about you, so give a book this Christmas. We have a great list of books to buy as presents for Christmas, and let's dive deeper into that list now. And first up, we have a beautiful new padded board book, Christmas is Love by Emma Dodd. Two reindeer show readers young and old what Christmas really means in this heartwarming padded board book for preschool children, full of warmth, joy and Christmas cheer. After reading this, it won't be Christmas without snowflakes, twinkling stars and magical reindeer. The gorgeous front cover will even sparkle and glow under the Christmas tree. The Winter Wish by Helen Mortimer and Rachel Dean. William is a child who lives in a world of books, a magical bookshop filled with the wonders of words. But hard times are ahead, and William creates the most incredible display to entice Christmas shoppers and more in this spellbinding tale of warmth and hope. A beautiful festive hardback with vibrant illustrations, The Winter Wish is like a magical bedtime story for Christmas, a wonderful gift for book lovers, and a great text to model Christmas stories in years 2 and 3. Inside the Suitcase by Clotilde Perrin. This magical illustrated quest follows a young boy packing his suitcase and travelling through an otherworldly land of forests, mountains, oceans, and the underwater. At every stage, the reader can lift the flap to delve deeper into the story, and then lift another to see more and more detail and surprises. Part mystery, part enchantment, and part fantasy, the story twists and turns and challenges the reader to work out how the boy will find his way home. A modern masterpiece, this is a beautiful book to give to younger children at Christmas. National Geographic Kids, The World's Most Amazing Places. This impressive and weighty hardback is stuffed full of high-quality, full-colour images, taking in Oceania, South America, North America, Africa, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and ocean islands. National Geographic Kids present the most amazing places on the planet. Each location features wow facts and compelling geographical and environmental details. The big, bold layouts make this book ideal for children in Key Stage 2, and The World's Most Amazing Places ticks all the Christmas present book boxes. How to Be More Paddington, a book of kindness by Michael Bond. In 9 sections, including being polite, being positive, and being friendly, this beautifully illustrated hardback presents short moments of Paddington's life as experiences to ponder and help shape the self. Light-hearted yet poignant, this book epitomises the motto, "Be kind," and would make an ideal present to help children embrace the spirit of Christmas. Timeline Science and Technology, A Visual History of Our World by Peter Goes. This large format hardback traces a chronology of the key technological developments in the history of mankind. Effectively a history of STEM, inventions and discoveries for each epoch are presented in an engaging visual style using glowing pen and ink drawings and deft typography. From the Stone Age through to early civilizations, the Renaissance and beyond. This is a blockbuster of a non-fiction book for children in Key Stage 2. The Misadventures of Frederick by Ben Manley and Emma Chichester Clark. A thoughtful and moving story about a boy, Frederick, who is sheltered and safety conscious, and a girl, Emily, who is brimming with adventure. They communicate by writing letters folded into paper aeroplanes, giving each a glimpse into each other's lives. Enchanting illustrations feature on every page, with lots to look at and discuss. It's a great book to read and share with your child. Leon and the Space Between by Graham Baker Smith. An enchanting book that invites the reader to follow Leon into an imaginary magical world that exists where things that have vanished have yet to reappear. Travelling on a flying carpet, Leon sees magician's doves, cards, and scenes of awe and wonder. The illustrations glow, a startling and inspirational picture book. Starbird by Sharon King Chai. An intricately illustrated picture book with eye-catching silver foil embellishments about a mythical bird whose song provokes incredible dreams in the minds of those who fall asleep to its tune. The king becomes obsessed with caging the prize bird as a gift for his daughter, who is equally intent on setting it free. This is a spellbinding bedtime story and a book to treasure. The After Christmas Tree by Bethan Welby. An original festive story about Brian, who finds a discarded Christmas tree and decides to take it home and care for it so that it can be used again next year. This is a sensitive and inspiring story with a clever and conscientious sense of sustainability. A good book to read and discuss with EYFS children. Maps of the United Kingdom by Rachel Dixon and Livy Gosling. A fantastic atlas of the UK with a double-page spread for each county, packed with cartoons, graphics, short bursts of facts. Each area is brought alive with history, geography, biographies, and points of scientific interest. This is a great book to share and dip into, and ideal for a child to take on holiday to unexplored parts of the country. Big Ideas for Curious Minds, An Introduction to Philosophy by the School of Life. A book that tackles challenging ideas in an accessible and compelling way, ideal for children who like to think and want to understand how and why. Nothing is dumbed down, and all the key philosophical concepts discussed in scenarios in which children aged 10 plus will relate to. It's also a hefty triple-tome slipcase affair that lends itself to precision gift wrapping. Absolutely Everything, a history of Earth, dinosaurs, rulers, robots and other things too numerous to mention by Christopher Lloyd. A quite staggering historical synthesis of everything we know about, packed with anecdotes, history, science and big ideas. This book is unique in the way it tries to link together and explain seemingly disparate events so that the reader will start to see cause and effect. In short, this book will take what your child has learned at school, reframe it, add context and encourage a lot of thinking. A History of Pictures for Children by David Hockney. A complete history of art for children, guided through each period and invention by a cartoon David Hockney chatting to the author Martin Gayford, with the reader listening in. Complex ideas and reproductions of famous works of art are presented with surprising clarity, and this is a compelling read for children aged 9+, a great children's book for Christmas. Eye to Eye by Steve Jenkins, a clever book that not only describes eyes in vast detail, but also explains how all sorts of creatures see. Children will be fascinated by the snail whose eyes are literally out on stalks, and how a stick insect can see in all sorts of different directions at the same time. Very detailed and scientific, this book is also accessible and highly engaging. Life Doesn't Frighten Me by Maya Angelou and Jean-Michel Basquiat, a classic poem that Maya Angelou wrote for all the children who pretend to fear nothing, inviting them to challenge their fears and think about how they feel. Set to evocative and bright paintings by Jean-Michel Basquiat, this is a fantastic book to inspire children's imagination with words and art. Once Upon a Magic Book by Lily Murray and Katie Hickey. A clever and memorable picture book in which Sophie and Jack find a mysterious story and a magical key. Suddenly, they find themselves inside the book, where each page contains a strange and magical world. The reader is invited to follow and solve puzzles to help Sophie and Jack avoid danger and find their way home. Dictionary of Dinosaurs by Dr. Matthew Barron and Dieter Braun. This book contains everything a child will ever want to know about over 300 different dinosaurs, complete with scale drawings, detailed facts, and a very big eyeball on the front cover. This weighty, oversized hardback will stand out at unwrapping time. Lots by Mark Martin. A celebration of exotic parts of the world, with each double-page spread very different from the previous one. Each location is presented as a series of lots, a series of buildings or animals or people or machines, whatever is synonymous with that particular place and its identity. The unique presentation and descriptive style makes this a great book to pore over and talk about. Orchestra by Avalon Nuovo and David Doran. A compelling book that examines every aspect of an orchestra, from individual instruments to sections, music, composers, the conductor and the venue. Presented with distinctive, bold and stylized illustrations, there's a lot to look at and an incredible amount of detail. It's ideal for children who like to listen to or play music. Leaf by Sandra Diekman. A beautifully realised picture book for younger children about a polar bear who sparks fear and distrust amongst the other animals. Touching on the theme of climate change, this is a warm-hearted story and great to read as a bedtime story. And all of these books can be looked at in more detail on our website, and there's a link in the programme notes. Here's a selection of exciting new book tasters sent to us by new and self-published children's authors this month.
Created for an art workshop at Penarth Library, the art family were designed to capture the imagination of young children as they explored their artistic creativity. 6 happy characters, each with a unique style of line matching their name: smooth, curly, wobbly, dot, dash and spiky art. The magic colours, red, yellow and blue, are introduced to make orange, green and purple. With lots of colours and shapes, the art family has fun working together to paint all sorts of inspiring creative pictures, including exciting spotty monsters, big dinosaurs, posh poodles and woolly jumpers. There are a range of ideas for adults to build upon, encouraging children to create their own art family, with lots of other linked activities. Available from Amazon, written by Sue Trussler.
Hi guys, this is Rowell Petra, author of my new fantasy novel, Lao Shan, Master Your Art. Lao Shan, Master Your Art is a fantasy tale about twin brother and sister that are on a big quest for the mastery of their magical powers. The core to their powers is the Box of Life, and the box has an enemy that wants to destroy it. A foe known as Elo, Destroyer of Life. The twins' world is counting on them. They must master their powers to save humanity. Reasoning can change situations or behaviors. The twins have to listen to each other so that the world can be a better place for their motherland Kumui. A great Christmas gift, guys, okay? It's now available on Amazon and Waterstones, okay? Age aimed to young adults and children from 5 to 12, okay? It's now available, and it's a great relationship between a twin brother and a twin sister. All right, guys? You're going to love it. It's inspiring. The story has a great messaging, too.
The Silly Adventures of Twighead Larson by John Dredge. Twighead Larson is the silliest person in the whole of Bingleton-on-Sea. His hobbies include putting loads of bread in the bath and laughing at string. One day, the horrible monster of Upminster, known to his friends as Charles, moves into town for a change of scene. Charles is an enormous yellow thing with terrifying orange eyes and 14 legs. He decides to visit the local townsfolk and be nasty and horrible to them, as horrible monsters so often are. First, he calls on Twighead and sets fire to his garden, throws his toilet out of the window and writes all over the walls. When Charles schedules another appointment with him the next morning, Twighead decides to do something to stop the monster. Twighead goes round to see his best friend, a musician called Banjo Gladys, to discuss the problem. She is clever and brave and is always making up peculiar songs. They plan to build a trap to catch the monster and to ask for the help of acclaimed local inventor and scientist, Professor Lee Jacobs.
If you'd like to get in touch and leave a recorded shout-out about your upcoming self-published children's book, have a look at our podcast webpage for more details. It's the start of a new term. The GCSE English teacher hands out the well-worn copies of a classic text, and within half a lesson or so, the book is opened, and the analysis, unpicking, scrutinising and questioning of the prose begins. And from that point onwards, up to half the class is demotivated. Why does this still happen? Let's look at it from the teacher's point of view. The timetable is so constrained. Every single lesson counts. Even a week of disruption to lessons can cause ripples. Teachers dive straight in because they don't see any other option. And as for the teaching style, many stick to what they know. This might be subliminally reworking their own experiences at school, relying on a lecturer's delivery from a literature degree course, or taking tips from the other staff that they've observed. It's interesting to point out that very rarely are secondary English teachers taught how to teach text to teenagers. They might be taught what to focus on, which books and which plays to teach, and occasionally why we teach them. But rarely is there any focus on how to teach a text effectively to children. So many teachers, through no fault of their own, pedal furiously to deliver lessons that haven't changed in style for 10, 20, 30 or more years. Place yourself in the student's shoes. It's a little like joining a sports team for the first time, only to find out that everyone else has already played for years, and the coach expects you to reach their level in no time at all. For many students, diving into that unknown book feels like a catch-up exercise from the start. It's demoralising and demotivating. Teachers are often so enthusiastic about the text and wonder why that doesn't rub off on the students. Well, imagine there's a supercar costing millions in the school car park. Students would spot it, identify it, look around it, look through the windows, take selfies with it in the background and talk about it. Now imagine that the children get told about the car, but instead of going to see it, they study it in class by unpicking the stitching on a tiny patch that's been removed from a leather seat. That's what it's like when the teacher starts analysing the text before the student even knows the story. It's no use enthusing that the car or the book is a classic. The moment has gone. The boredom has set in. The timetable then becomes a series of hurdles that cannot be cleared. When the student has to write an essay on the first 3 chapters in week 2, some, many or most, might start writing before they've read or understood any of the story. The whole exercise becomes reading for pressure rather than reading for pleasure. It's essential that every student knows the story before analysing the text. Without that, any teaching that follows is unlikely to be successful. So how can we achieve this? We need to engineer a situation where the students do not feel threatened by the text. A situation where the student looks at the text and thinks they have an advantage. A situation where they say, "Oh, I know that story. I know what this book is about." This really helps to build the confidence and positivity. The exact resources needed to make this happen will differ from student to student and class to class. It comes down to offering choices and opportunities that respect the students. For example, A Christmas Carol. A classic text, but rarely a favourite with teenagers. It's a great story, but not a story that's easy for many teenagers to understand just from unpicking Dickens's text 30 minutes at a time around a class. Usborne Books has published a fantastic easy reader version, but it's aimed at 6 to 8-year-olds. Reading it will ensure your class of 15-year-olds understands the story, but they might not thank or respect you. So this is about framing the learning experience. Take that same text and then tell your class they're going to visit year 2 at the local primary school. Tell each student that they need to read the text so that they can share it with a 7-year-old and talk about it, and ask them to prepare a short primary school assembly based on the picture book. And there might be the odd teenage grumble, but I guarantee every member of the class will know the key elements of the story backwards. With difficult text, teens need to be able to absorb the story with minimal effort. Film versions are ideal. There's a Patrick Stewart-led adaptation that follows Dickens's text closely. If that's too boring, try The Muppets Christmas Carol. Don't knock it if it adds to your points per pupil average in August. There's also a great audiobook version narrated by Tom Baker, or another one read by Hugh Grant. Ideal for listening to on the bus, in the car, on the train, or in the lesson. If you know that every student has a clear understanding of the story, teaching can become more flexible and interesting. In the same way that drama rehearsals can be blocked, the text no longer has to be taught chronologically. Teachers can teach thematically, teach the more relevant or interesting bits first, or let the students choose which blocks of text to look at next. For parents, try to increase that sense of advantage and being ahead of the game by watching films, seeing a play, reading graphic novel versions, and listening to audiobooks in the holidays before the teaching starts. So, how to make an impenetrable GCSE text accessible for your teen child? To round up, find any way to provide a non-threatening, low-effort, confidence-building way to ensure teens know the story before analysing the text. And in particular, look for film versions, TV adaptations, plays at the theatre, audiobooks, video games, simulations, interactive guides, graphic novels. And there's a great page on our site that features graphic novels of virtually every GCSE set text, study guides, idiot guides, revision guides and crib sheets, and we have a page for those too. And in the classroom or at home, retell the story, explain it to a younger child, and try to recreate it as a drama, a short film, or even an animation. Debate it, argue about it, critique it. To develop that enthusiasm for the text, teachers might want to consider running a theme day where staff and students dress up as the characters, hot seat the characters, write letters or messages from one character to another. These might be postcards, text, Instagram posts, love letters, or divorce demands. Turn the story into a mock trial, a sitcom, or a role play. But above all, make sure that every student knows the story and engages with the story before ever analysing the text. If you'd like to get in touch, use the hashtag SRLpodcast on Twitter or drop us a line using the contact form or messaging button on our website schoolreadinglist.co.uk. And all the books lived happily ever after. The end.